Yo, what is good? We back out here on this, you know what time it is, switching things up out here, bro. Trying some new things every single day. You know what time it is. Yeah, today I got something, different for y'all. Is, you know, some educational, educational logs in the building. Some shit I find, very important in my life, to, help as many people as I can on my journey with whatever, reach I have, and, whoever's around me, it's just basically like, I feel like it's my, my thing to, my duty, to be myself. And yeah, man, today we checking out some wisdom, some young wisdom on this young YouTube channel. Check them out after school, basically just lessons on life and just things you don't really take seriously, or you don't know how to address, or just some things to keep in mind to keep you going. Some motivational shit, motivational logs up in here, do-rag logs. You know what time it is. Yeah, man, let's get into this shit. Let's see what it's saying. How we.
Are you suffering from social anxiety and mental health issues? If you are, it's hardly surprising. I don't even mean just within the context of a global pandemic and the obvious political fissures that are emerging, but perhaps our systems, even beyond current events, are designed to engender and exacerbate mental illness. Do you feel socially anxious right now? Are you concerned about how to have interactions where you can only see 50% of the face? Are you worried about having a total lack of connection? Do you feel somehow that you're not nurtured within, that you're not good enough, that you're worthless, that this is a
I feel like most of these emotions were very heightened, I can say, and especially this time that we're in, especially last year specifically. Like it's 2021. Last year, during the whole lockdown situation, people were really forced to, be with themselves, and yeah, I think kind of caused a lot of this, or more awareness on this, rather.
Difficult world to live in, that out there somewhere people are living a better life than you, that you've somehow missed out on something crucial, vital and integral to the experience of being human. Well, this is not a new idea. Religions are founded, books are written, and I don't just mean modern self-help books such as the ones that I've written. Great masterpieces of literature are constructed on this basis that we have become a lost species, that the problem of mental health is not an individual one, but a social and cultural one. The late great Mark Fisher wrote in his book Capitalist Realism that mental health problems are created by the alienation, dissatisfaction and disconnection of the modern world. Sebastian Junger, I think it's his name, in his book Tribe, says that we couldn't, if we were looking to design a society to create mental health problems, we couldn't do any better than what we've currently done. A culture that makes people feel alienated, alone, worthless. We tend to compare ourselves to one another. In short, if you want to be mentally healthy, you're going to have to find a way of severing yourself from the grid, from the matrix of culture that pumps you full of negative information. I think that the problem is simply that we prioritize so strongly the economic advantages of the already economically advantaged, that it biases and warps the rest of culture in a direction that means that most people to some degree suffer. But the mental health problem is one that infects all of us. It probably affects you more if you do not have any economic facility with which to remedy it. But across my life, I've known enough people now that are sometimes properly world famous people that you'd think would be right as rain, or somehow reveling in the spoils of our society, that are just desperate, broken and alone. And the solution for them, and me, because I'll have to include myself in that to a degree, is the same as the solution for you. To find connections that are outside the mediated space of our capitalist culture. What I mean is purpose a personal purpose. What is the purpose of your life right now? What is the thing that is motivating and driving you? How I would personally answer that question is, I want to have a connection with reality. I want to stand in reality, not in the concepts, constructions and inflections of a culture that sees me primarily as a consumer and an agent of consumerism. I recognize that practically I am the father in a family. I have an obligation to my partner and to our children. I have all sorts of economic responsibilities that I have to fulfill without being sucked into the very system that I am here critiquing. My purpose more broadly is to ensure that on a daily basis I am of service and use to other people, people from whom I can't get anything in return except that glow of goodwill that you get when you know that you've helped another person. I'm connected to a tribe of people that have the same purpose as me. In my case, that's around abstinence and connecting to a higher power, but all of us can have that. In short, and the reason that I mentioned Sebastian Junger is because he strongly believes that part of the solution to our problem is in emulating and recreating the conditions for which we are evolved. We are evolved to be tribal animals. If you're living a lonely, atomized life, defined entirely by economic criteria, you'll need to meet certain targets, to pay certain bills, to stop yourself from going under, then you, as he says in his book, are as detached from reality as it's possible to be. If you have no connection to nature, if your own survival is...
Big fact. One thing I can say, during lockdown and just in life in general, like taking time out to get into nature, like even if it's just going outside, being on your grass, just sitting there and just being in silence, like just watching nature, just, after a whole stressful, I don't know, day or week or what, or you're just in the house feeling like you have no direction, just going outside, getting some sun, just being with nature, and like maybe even meditating like there on the grass gives you this sense of, I don't know, like connectedness, like you just feel more happy, more less alone, like just, I don't know, just some other feeling. It's definitely, please do try it.
Mediated again through economic structures that seem abstract to you. If you're paid, you live in a house, you're ordering everything online. What have we made ourselves? We're just becoming like an avenue, a junction for this system. Like the systems that are meant to serve us have submitted us, subjugated us into their service. For your social anxiety, for your mental being, for you to reclaim some kind of mental health, some nutrition, some connection, you are going to have to create and replicate organic and natural systems outside of the culture in the way that I described. You're going to need prayer and meditation. You're going to need connection to like-minded people. You're going to need a connection to nature.
The connection to like-minded people is also something very important, because you can, try to change your life, but, you don't have friends who share the same outlook, or just, have the patterns of behavior that you want to get away from. So, staying in those environments will definitely not help you with that. Or once you've had that awakening of, you want to change your life, you won't feel as supported or as comfortable as you would be if you had somebody who shared the same views, or you talk to someone regularly who had the same views. That's why I appreciate, the people around me, because they share like that same, wokeness, if I could say.
Those things might be challenging for you in a way that I'm not considering, because I don't understand your likely economic or medical realities, because I'm aware I'm coming at you from a time of great suffering. The simple truth is this: the spiritual life cannot be seen as sundry, secondary, and ancillary add-on. This is the main course. The main course is your connection to reality, or your connection to God. Use whatever word you don't jar with you, don't wind you up. If you don't have that connection, if your well-being is entirely attached to things that are beyond your control, man, that's a life of suffering. I know this because I've been there. But check this out as a beautiful, a metaphorical piece of writing from the great Herman Melville, from his masterpiece Moby Dick. I like this piece of writing because it's embedded with archetypal information that through his genius he accessed. For those of you who don't know, Moby Dick takes place on a whaling ship. Like, they're out looking for this whale, Moby Dick, who's obviously under the surface of the water and therefore represents the monster under the water, which all of us personally identify with, because all of us have within us primal drives such as our sexuality and our drives to survive, which include the need to, like, you know, hunt and kill, for example, and that we have, by and large, unless we have some means of connecting with them, lost that connection, and therefore we live with a monster under the sea of ourselves. This is how Melville describes that situation. Check it out. Consider the subtleness of the sea, how its most dreaded creatures glide underwater, unapparent for the most part, and treacherously hidden beneath the loveliest tints of azure. Consider also the devilish brilliance and beauty of many of its most remorseless tribes, as the dainty embellished shape of many species of sharks. Consider once more the universal cannibalism of the sea, all whose creatures prey upon each other, carrying on eternal war since the world began. Consider all this, and then turn to this green, gentle, and most docile earth. Consider them both, the sea and the land, and do you not find a strange analogy to something in yourself? For as this appalling ocean surrounds the verdant land, so in the soul of man there lies one insular Tahiti, full of peace and joy, but encompassed by all the horrors of the half-known life. God keep thee, push not off from that isle, thou canst never return. Melville makes the case for staying on the terra firma of the acknowledged psyche, the terrain that you know, the person that you know yourself to be, not venturing off into the oceans of the possible, not relinquishing the ego, not...
Often I come across people who are very, not willing to, I don't know, like, just open their minds to certain ideas or to certain perspectives. I personally can say that opening, your mind to everything, not it's like exactly accepting everything, but like accepting it as a point of view, and rather taking information from everything that you can to, create a vision of your own. I don't believe in herd-minded. I don't know what the right term is, but like just going with what people believe because everybody believes it. It's just something to keep in mind.
Letting go. Now, there's an obvious counterpoint to that. There's a clear argument for exploring these territories. In fact, for me, the world of prayer and meditation, potentially psychedelic investigation, is all about discovering and harnessing these latent powers. But as that beautiful piece of writing demonstrates, this should be done with some degree of caution. There's no doubt that you would feel anxious at a time like this, in a place like this, in a space like this, with a creed like this, in a world like this, designed to keep you trapped, immobilized, spending, even under the most ludicrous conditions, where the world itself is calling out to us to awaken, and the systems we have designed, the man-made manacles of our social and economic systems, endeavor to keep us in chains. Try to find your own way back home. Look for people that are on the same path as you awakened. Know that as these structures were created, alternative structures may yet be created. And from this peculiarly apocalyptic time, there may yet be a cultural awakening, because you are not suffering from social anxiety and mental illness alone. You are suffering as part of an epidemic induced by willful ignorance.
Words of wisdom by the boy Russell Brand. And yeah, man, to be honest, that's one of the biggest lessons I've taken from COVID in general, is just to go deeper into myself, like being by myself, meditating, understanding, getting to know yourself as a person, getting to know what you don't like, and often other times you know what you don't like, you know what you want to change, but the action is the most important part of that. You will feel way better. I mean, it's the hardest thing to do and the most scariest thing to do is to take the first step, but like, trust me, in terms of elevating your vibration and getting closer to who you want to become, you have to make these moves. Otherwise you stay in that same situation because you know, life keeps giving you that challenge, because you need to, you know, one way or another get over that, or learn the lesson that life is trying to teach you, you know. And often at the time, not everybody learns this lesson, but you know, we have different, you know, lifetimes and chances to do it in life, I believe, at least. So yeah, I wouldn't judge anybody who is, you know, hasn't done that, because we're all on our own journeys. So yeah, just some advice. Yeah, man. You know what time it is. You try to do some educational shit. Let me know what you're trying to see next. If you want me to check out, I don't know, like wildest shit in the world or something like that, or you know, I don't know. Gonna keep the reacts, the gameplay, you know, the educational logs. We be keeping it do-rag logs, keeping it live out here. Please leave a like. Yeah, time it is. If you haven't already, please subscribe. That bell. Yeah, man. Keep bringing you some fly ass content. Peace out. Check you guys in the next video.